Right. Now, it could be political rhetoric. It could be right. But I think you should at least entertain the idea. Hindi ba yung dismiss right away? Preliminary investigation, if they see wala naman talagang kinonstratang magpatay sa 50 na senador, di ba? At the very least, abundant caution, I think. But we respect the NBI director. That's how he sees his job. If namimili po siguro kung alin ang iimbestigahan at hindi. But I just side by Kong Adjong na his statement that it should be taken seriously. Yun ang po.
Director Jaime Santiago po, ako nga yung nagsalita ko siya few minutes ago lang habang nagko-comment po ulit kayo regarding your statement po dun sa political rally, yung mga speech po ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. And sinabi po niya dito, quote, mawalang galang kay Congressman Adjong, nag-instigate sila na mag-imbestiga, hindi naman sila yung tinatakot, yung mga senador. So dapat daw po yung mga senador ang magreklamo kung alam nila sila yung tinatakot o pinapatay. Also, dinifferentiate po niya no, yung kay VP Sara, yung pagkaka-deliver daw po ni VP Sara, magkaiba raw po yun. Ang sabi po ni NBI Director Jaime Santiago, sa political rally, talagang nagjo-joke lang siya. Part ng rhetorics ng political speech. Your comment, and also Courage Juan.
Well, again, it's, well, I respect the position of NBI Director if that's how he sees it. Pero, yun nga the point is, do we allow this kind of rhetorics in the first place? Do we actually normalize this kind of talks? Especially if it's uttered in a very important event, like a proclamation rally, that would speak about. I don't know how the NBI director sees it, but we are not instigating. We are merely trying to convey a message where if there's a policy that any threats, no matter how you say it, utter it, whether it's a joke or not, you are not allowed to say things about killing other people. No. We are actually trying to convey a message where, in the case of the former president, where he somehow has the license and permit to say anything he says. He can tell you, I will kill you. He can tell you, I will kill him, and then get away with it. I mean, it's time really to draw the line. When do we allow these things, these kind of talks, to go unscathed and without even a sense of impunity? I beg to disagree, and I don't want to again. I respect the position of the NBI director, but then again, this is something that should be taken seriously for an NBI director, for someone who is in charge of really making sure that such talks and such rhetorics don't go overboard as to causing harms and direct as probably causing other people to really act on certain on the statements made by this influential person, something that should be not taken lightly. It's so unfortunate to hear that from the NBI director. Again, hindi naman dapat kami ang actual na ma-threat para po kami manawagan na hindi dapat ito mangyari. It does, it should not be taken that way na dapat ikaw mismo feel na ma-threaten para magsalita kung ano dapat ang tama. Ang mali talaga, maski kanino yung sinabi, maski sinabi sa kung hindi man ikaw direct na threat or ano basta sinabi ay mali, hindi tama. And then, according to ethical standards, it should be out of bounds. I mean, it doesn't take one to be threatened physically, like me, directly, to say that things are not right to say out in public. So, those talks saying that patayin ang 50 na senador is hindi po dapat sinasabi, hindi po dapat tama yun. Wala pong dapat na lugar yun sa ating society at sa ating lipunan.
I know you mentioned that you agree with the complaint or petition filed before the Supreme Court to compel the Senate to convene as an impeachment court. But are you optimistic that the Supreme Court will grant that petition, or can the Supreme Court order the Senate to convene as an impeachment court immediately?
Two things po, no? I think to clarify, I am optimistic and I am of the opinion na talagang may kapangyarihan po yung Supreme Court to rule on this. I think it's the proper venue, and that it is the remedy, the writ of mandamus po, for example. I think these are things that the Supreme Court will be fully empowered to do po talaga, without talking about the merits yet. The merits, I've already mentioned, sa tingin ko po, may merit naman po yung kaso, may opinion naman po na dapat ito ay mandato ng Senate to tackle the impeachment forthwith. But this is not to supplant po yung maaaring sasabihin ng Supreme Court. I'm optimistic of the chances, but I can't say that for sure gagawin po nila. I'm just saying that they have the power to do it. And I eagerly anticipate po what the Supreme Court will do in this matter. Tama po ba? We're talking about the mandamus po. So I eagerly anticipate po whether or not it's a favorable or unfavorable decision. Kami po bilang abogado, any decision by the Supreme Court gets added to our proceedings po, no? It's added to the law of the land. So at least legally, there will be enlightenment on our part. It will establish precedent for future.
Or in your opinion, ano po yung mga nakikita niyo na mga posibleng nalabag ng statement na yon na batas? Also, do you see it as possibly laying down the defense for the impeachment trial of the Vice President?
Of course, I'm a little rusty on criminal law, but I think what comes to mind is grave threats. That would be the first thing that you'd have to take a look at. I don't know if it would be a threat to direct assault, but at the end of the day, what's really important to take note of was it's not the importance of anong may kakaso. I think we're just talking about, I agree 100% with Kong Adyong. It's about the normalization of these kinds of ganitong pananalita. Normal na po ba ito sa lipunan natin? Katanggap-tanggap na po ba ang mga ganito, mga binibitaw ng mga salita? It's come to the point na po na parang, I can't believe we're going to say na it's normal to joke about killing, it's normal to joke about mga ganun. So, what's scary especially is that under oath, nabanggit po, the one who uttered that word, nabanggit po na he did indeed kill people. So, where do we draw the line? And then after magsabi ng ganitong salita, later on, papasok yung interpreter, magsasabi na, biro lang daw po yun, hindi po ito totoo, hyperbole. I think we have to really take it seriously na po. Not so much to the extent, depends. If NBI finds probable cause, then there will be a case. But more than the case, we have to take these words seriously. We don't take it lightly. The senators have to beef their protection. More than even if the one who uttered the words is not serious, you cannot disregard the fact that he has a lot of followers. Paano kung sila po, they take this as a call to arms? What if ako naniniwala sa isang tao, sabi niya, pakain na lang natin to. Ako maniniwala ko. That's a problem with words. It emboldens people to do what might do wrong. So I think more important than the case is the principle. So to answer, roundabout na naman. To answer the question, I think grave threats, but more importantly, all preparations, consider it serious.
Do it. Ano po yung mga nakikita ninyo na posibleng ikaso with those remarks?
Well, I think it's about time para sa akin personally, in my opinion. It's about time that law enforcement agencies to take seriously about this kind of rhetorics. Diba? As to whether or not there is a validity or there's a merit for the NBI to pursue filing charges against President Duterte. That would depend on how they would probably proceed with the examination with the investigation. That's why pagka magkakaroon ng investigation to make sure that there is really indeed a merit to file possible cases. Nakita naman natin dito sa Vice President Sara Duterte, still ang DOJ, they're still looking for possible filing of cases. When she made those threats against President BBM, First Lady and Speaker Martin Romualdez, I think the point that I'm trying to drive at is that let's draw the line. When can we actually accept things as joke or as a mere, as a simple, ordinary rhetoric, from that of a statement that actually causes harm to individual lives? So I think that's just the thing that I would like to drive at. Kung sinasabi po natin na kailangan seryosohin po natin yung yung mga ordinaryo na tao pag sila ay nagbabanta o nag-joke man lang ng mga bomb threats ay inaaresto natin sila. Why can't we be selective in our application of that kind of law and policies?
Kong Rog, your thoughts on that?
Anong division labor pa po yung nabanggit ni Kong Defense or our fellow prosecutor po, co-prosecutor? As far as I'm aware, wala pa po akong individual. The preparations in general, although there are talks already in the division, there are leanings already, pero wala pa pong final. So as it stands po, we're still preparing for the whole thing in general kasi we have to be familiar with the whole impeachment complaint. And yung specialization will come later on po. I could be mistaken, baka mas updated po si Kong Defensor, but as far as as far as I know, wala pa pong specific po.
Pero hindi rin po kayo nagpaabot ng communication dun sa secretariat or kung sino man po yung nagsasabi kung kayo ang tatanungin, anong preferred niyo pong article of impeachment na hahawakan?
There were informal talks already. In fact, there were already talks about the strong suits of certain prosecutors, which complaints are they most, which articles are they most familiar with. So, to an extent, I think baka yun po yung tinutukoy ni Defensor.
Ano daw po yung sa inyo, sir? Yes.
Personally, as I've always mentioned, I'm more familiar with Article 2, confidential funds. I personally want answers. Hindi po na isagot ko. It would be my honor to take on that article to ask the questions that were left unanswered during the committee hearings. Pero aside from that, any other article, I mean, where we're willing to do our duty. Pero if you're going to ask me po personally, yung aking panindigan.
I think the process of the impeachment trial is not tied up with the resignation of a certain official na impeach, diba? Parang I think it's more of how the Constitution would really would ensure really that the Congress, in this case, impeach si VP Sara, and automatic the Senate would have to really convert itself into impeachment court para mag-decide kung ano yung magiging ruling or magiging conviction or ano magiging pathway pa siya. So I think it's more of not really tied up with that premise. It's more on the operation of what the Constitution mandates for Congress to do in terms of impeaching a certain public official.
There are two schools of thought. We've never reached that point before. I mean, there was an opportunity before, but they did not pursue it. I believe that there was a resignation tapos hindi pa na pursue impeachment itself. But ako personally, I believe that the Constitution is clear. The purpose of impeachment is one, removal from office, and two, the penalty of perpetual disqualification of holding a public office. And I believe resignation, while it might avoid the first penalty, the second penalty is still there po, no? And I don't think you should take away from the power from the Senate impeachment court to impose that second penalty just by simple resignation. So I think that's where I personally stand. We leave it, of course, to the wisdom of the impeachment court if they will still pursue it. Sorry, and to answer the question, tuloy pa rin ang preparation po, no? So we are still anticipating, even with the resignation, that will depend on the timeline, no? But we would still prepare for it. If there's a resignation, but impeachment court says tuloy po, then we will be prepared. If there is if the resignation happens during the trial, we will be prepared.
Kasi katulad po ng impeachment na it talks about the accountability of public officials, ganun din po yung election. Pero si election lawyer Macalintas said, campaigning for the 2025 elections is not a valid reason to delay the impeachment proceedings. Kayo po bilang re-electionist and si Kong Rog po, member ng House Prosecution Panel, is election a reasonable delay for the impeachment proceedings?
Well, of course, those are opinions from esteemed luminaries, and split siguro yung decision on that. Pero ako personally po, I mean, the fact that I'm here, that I'm working, I'm not campaigning, I am of the opinion po na this is a constitutional duty that cannot wait. Ako po, naniniwala na ang mandato po natin dito, what we are elected for, is not to run for a second campaign. but to faithfully fulfill the duties and we have sworn to uphold and to do within this term. Doesn't matter po kung magiging, kung nandito pa rin kami sa 20th Congress at 21st Congress if we don't do the job in the 19th Congress. For as long as nandito po kami, we have to pursue what we are mandated to do. And I think, I truly believe that the Constitution, ang ating saligang batas, klaro po yun. Mandato po natin ito. This is not legislative, it is constituent power. And all the more, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the context of that, they were not even talking about the prosecutor's fault. I think the context of that was the Senate impeachment court. And it's a continuing body, and there are 12 senators who are not up for re-election. And the 12 senators that are up for re-election, I don't think all of them are for re-election. But it's a continuing body, and they can still pursue its constituent powers if it chooses to do so. So, sorry, in a roundabout way, ang sinasabi ko na po, I don't believe that it is sufficient reason po to delay. I think it is a constitutional mandate that has to be complied with immediately forthwith.
It should be applied to everyone. Diba? Kung ang ordinaryong tao, inaaresto mo dahil nag-joke lang siya ng bomba or may papatayin, I don't see any reason why it should also be applied to a certain individual simply because he's higher in stature or in influence.
Thank you. Kasi this morning sa mga prominent na international broadsheet, headline po yung threat ni former President Duterte. Hihingi lang ako ng reaction, sir, na kasi sabi ni Kong Joel nung nakaraan on VP Sara's side dun sa threat naman versus our Pangulo. Sabi niya parang international embarrassment yung nangyari dahil nasulat nga sa mga broadsheet yung naging threat na ni VP Sara. And now, former President Duterte naman has these threats. And nandito ngayong looming election season. So ano lang po yung reaction na sa lawmaker na this is the kind of traction na nakukuha sa Pilipinas, specifically this season of the time.
Kaya sinabi ko, that's why it's disheartening eh. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, we have to be circumspect about the things that we say out in public. Kasi in the first place, kung naka-attract siya ng negative attention, it's because of the statement in itself is negative. Diba? Ano bang purpose mo doon? Ba't mo sinabi yun? To not only threaten candidates. Of course, we're in a generation that the information is so fast that it travels faster than the speed of light. So naturally, that would really land on print and on news, online news. So kaya nga sinasabi natin, sa mundong ito, hindi lang tayo ang nag-uusap-usap because of the information sharing and the globalization. One news from one certain part of the world will travel fast to another country. So I guess it's a matter of that we say, but we have to choose our words correctly, especially if we have a certain degree of power and influence over a certain group of people. In this case, sa whatever you call it, in whatever angles you may, talagang hindi dapat po natin payagan na mag-normalize yung salitang pagpatay at pagbomba. Kasi nga, hindi lang ho yan o aking opinion. Pero even po sa ating mga polisiya, kasi hindi talaga hukuman. May penalty talaga yun. Sabi ko nga sa mga airports, if you throw a bomb joke, talagang pupusasan ka. Diba? Aarestuin ka talaga. To say these things, no? To threaten, say na mas madali lang sabihin na patayin na lang natin yung mga senators. In the past, we've heard him threatening illegal pushers, drug syndicates, etc. Napatahin itong mga illegal drug lords, tsaka mga illegal pushers. But he mentioned that he made those threats in the context of the war against drugs to curb, to free our streets from the illegal drugs syndicate. But this time it was said in a context where he has candidates and there are also candidates on the other side running for the same position. So, medyo hindi siya, para sa akin, it's disheartening. It's really, it should concern all of us. Because hindi dapat man normalize yung salita na patayin, or even sa mga, if you go to mga airports naman, di ka naman talaga po pwedeng mag-bomb joke ng, yung bomb threat na jokes kasi automatically you'll be, mapupusasan ka. How much more, for example, for say that out in the public. But it's, the issue really, my point that I'm trying to drive at is, if you're an individual who enjoys or wields a certain influence, you have to be more circumspect about what you say because people, those your followers, may think it na seryoso ka. That's why, pag sinasabi na joke, when will it end? We don't know which one is joke and which one is not. So I think we have to be more circumspect about how we say things out in the public, especially if the occasion calls for a choosing of new leaders in the country. So, yun yung aking position doon at pananaw. Na hindi dapat agad-agad natin ma-normalize at ma-trivialize yung mga threat na dali-dalian mo lang sabihin, pumatay or patayin. In addition to that, I think the president is coming from a position where the effects of these bad policies, the effects of this we still continue to feel it. Being the president, meron naman siyang access doon sa nangyari na mga policy na hindi talaga epektibo. So I think that's where the president wants to be very clear about it, na there are certain issues and policies before that up to now, nakikita natin yung effect ng West Philippine Sea, the aggression of China against our fishermen, sa Coast Guard, the effect of the POGO in the previous administration, hanggang ngayon, niraramdaman natin yun, at marami pang iba, no? So I think the president wants to track a direction where these possible senators, and mga candidates, would have to really draw the line whether they want to pursue his administration's policies of, number one, we can curb illegal drugs and illegal syndicate without even making so many bodies lifeless in the streets. There are certain policies that we can implement without necessarily resorting to violence. That's number one. Where do you stand on this ground? Number two, when it comes to the incursion of China, where do you stand on this ground? Would you be for the Philippines and protecting the integrity of the country, or where do you be toe to the Chinese incursions? So I think this is a very clear position where the president wants to educate the public that the effects of the past policies of the past administration hanggang ngayon nararamdaman natin, and we're doing so much to addressing those questions. So ako naniniwala po dun sa stand ng presidente na sa panahon ngayon, ang politika hindi dapat tama nga sinabi ni Kong Rog, hindi dapat siya personality-based. People should be given information, the accurate information, so that they can decide on their own, not based on which person they would prefer to see there in the Senate, but based on the candidate's stand on certain important national issues.
Hindi sunod-sunuran sa China. Hindi kaya din ng presidente yung mga botante na huwag hayaang bumalik muli ang bansa sa panahon ng dilim at lagim na tila tumutukoy sa nakaraang administrasyon. Ayon mismo sa Pangulo ay pumayag na gawin umano nga probinsya ng China ang Pilipinas. Ibinugaw ang ating bayan bilang sugalan ng mga dayuhan at hinayaang umapaw ang dugo ng mga inosenteng mga bata na inagawa ng kinabukasan dahil sa kanilang pagpatay. Ano pong masasabi niyo?
Ako po, I think we welcome those remarks. Personally, gaya ng sinabi po natin in the last press call, it's about time po naging issue-based po tayo, especially for elections. Hindi na po tayo personality politics. During the last time that we had this discussion, I believe yung pinag-usapan natin dito ay kung ano yung stance po ng senador tungkol sa impeachment complaint. And now we have brought to the fore other issues po. Anong stance ng ating mga senador sa EJK? Anong stance ng ating mga senador sa China, sa West Philippine Sea? And I think it's a good thing. It is well appreciated po siguro na na-highlight po ito ng ating presidente. I'm not saying po no, that it should resort to, kasi yung iba po, based on those statements, may nagsasabi na smear campaign. I don't think it's smear campaign when we're just talking about issues po, no? We're talking about issues. How do these candidates feel about these issues? Where do they stand? So, I think it's very important now na sa taong bayan, dapat maalala po natin yung mga issue na ito kapag nagboboto na po tayo. We have to consider po where their stances. General statements naman po yun, but they are powerful statements. I think it really highlights po the need to really look into their credentials, not just yung achievements, but their stances po rin po talaga. So personally, unfortunately, nagiging malaking headliner po yan, Team Pilipinas versus Team China. Siyempre doon tayo sa Team Pilipino, di ba? Team Pilipinas tayo. So, suriin po talaga natin kung ano po talaga yung stance natin. There will be a lot of campaign promises, there will be a lot of statements na he said, she said, but at the end of the day, saan po talaga sila talagang nakatayo? Yun po, I guess, yung issue.